Should we give him another minute? Should we give another moment? Go ahead, go. Make sure it's set. Is he playing the? Hi, my name is Billy, and I am a member of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation and the Kaleidoscope Collective. We are an LGBTQIA plus group that is affiliated with the UUC to help provide a network of support for the LGBTQIA plus community in the Charleston area. Welcome, all of you. Our members, our friends, and if this is your first time here, we welcome you and thank you for joining us today. If you are new to UUC, I'm sure you will find us an open, accepting congregation. We are guided by the 7 principles you see around you. We are the place, as a wise person once said, if you don't feel you fit in anywhere else, you belong here. If you have a friend who might also enjoy our services, please bring them. It seems in these days of not just partisan politics, but actual partisan beliefs and facts, even worldviews, we need a respite, a place of peace and safety, a sanctuary where we can worship as we choose. I'm sorry. We are a community of caring, concerned congregants. We have among our congregation atheists and pagans, Christians and Jews, agnostics and Buddhists, Muslims and humanists, and those who don't fit in any category. We are seekers of truth who believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Please let me remind you and myself to silence our electronic devices. We do stream our services on YouTube for those who cannot be here in person. And we do have a few announcements, which Casey will be coming up for.
Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Casey. I go by they, he. Let us take a moment to thank our tech team, Maddie and Paul, our greeter, Laura, and our ushers, Jean and Tammy, our music coordinator, Jamie Edwards, and the UUC Music Makers for all the work they do to make Sundays happen. A big thank you to our congregational administrator, Sarah Stone, for her patience and talent in organizing these facilities, the orders of service, and for keeping this collection of counterculture congregants operating. And another big thank you to our worship coordinator, Paul Dalzell? Sorry. For his support in making this service happen. Please join us in singing our welcome song, and if you feel comfortable doing so, greet those around you.
Please rise in mind, body, and spirit for our opening words. That will be Pride Day reading by Amanda Eudice Kessler. This is a responsive reading, and it will be found in your order of service. Today, Pride Day, we affirm with joy that we are proud.
We are proud to be lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, and questioning.
We are proud to have survived and thrived despite challenges to our dignity, well-being, and sometimes even our lives.
We are proud to be heterosexual and cisgender allies.
We are proud to live and work in solidarity with our LGBTQ+ friends and family.
Together, we build the beloved community.
We and those we love have been judged, mistreated, assaulted.
But we are here and we are proud.
We and those we love have been stereotyped and have faced discrimination.
But we are here and we are proud.
We have seen those we love beaten to death and gunned down.
But we are here and we are proud.
We are together and we are proud. And together we build the beloved community. Watch as it grows among us even now. Please remain standing if you wish, and see the insert in your hymn for our hymn, We Walk in Love.
And if you would, please be gentle with these, because we're going to save them for future use so we don't have to print again. So if you'll just leave them in your seats, we'll collect them when you finish. Thank you.
We walk in love, united in purpose. We join our hands and lift up our voice. We speak the truth with strength and compassion, resounding with hope, with courage and joy. We cry for peace and rights for all people. We welcome friends from far and from near. We fight for those whose voices are silenced, resisting in vain until we are free. We dream a world of justice and kindness. We build a bridge, creating new paths. We march with joy as all walking together, embracing each one. We boldly stand.
I would like to welcome Maria up to read our chalice lighting, and Paul Dalzell to light the chalice.
As we light our chalice for gay pride, as we light our chalice for gay pride, and let us ponder that it is not our differences that divide us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. Yeah. Thank you.
And now we should have our story for all ages. It will be played on the screen here.
Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Hey, hey. Okay, so we come together in part for fellowship and hopefully to share what is inside of us, both the joys that raise our hearts and the sorrows that weigh on us. So we're gonna now share the milestones of joys and sorrows. For joys, we have people are being held accountable for crimes that they have committed or at least found guilty for them. It was a great turnout for Pride and grateful for the UUC community for showing support. A good turnout for Queerioke, and it was a lot of fun. And then big thanks to Sarah for getting a karaoke machine last minute. It looks like we don't have any sorrows. I do have a joy that I forgot to write down, and that is like a big thanks to this congregation as a whole, like Spiralman Grove, Kaleidoscope Collective, and just like everyone else. It's been really hard finding a place in Charleston where I feel like I belong. Also for Reverend Snow's LGBTQ community that he's building. It's just been really hard for the past few years for me to find somewhere I belong, and I truly feel like I'm finding that place here and in that group chat with Reverend Snow, and just thank you for being you guys. Paul has a joy that he would like to share, so come on up. Yeah. I'm gonna take this, hold on. And then it's Billy. Sorry. I'm a mess of a person.
We all are. I just wanted to also share a joy about yesterday's Pride event. I started coming here in 2008, so 15 years. I've made almost all the marched in the Pride Parade with UUC. I may have missed one, maybe two. And usually we'll have 6 or 7, maybe as many as a dozen people walk. There have been times where it was Sarah, myself, Maddie, and Bob, and that was it. We had to kind of, couldn't even, barely enough people to hold the pole, to hold the banner up as we walked. Yesterday, thanks to Kaleidoscope Collective, we had 30 people at least marching in the parade. It was amazing. A huge crowd, people stopping and taking pictures. Also, in days of yore, there was a huge anti-Pride protester contingent. I didn't see a one of them yesterday, so it was really, I remember when it weeded down to about 3 and they looked kind of pitiful. They just stayed home now. So, again, Kaleidoscope Collective.
I forgot to list this joy because we were rehearsing this morning, but being involved with Kaleidoscope Collective has been so refreshing. Working with all these young people, they could all be my children or grandchildren, but they bring so much joy, and they're just such a blessing for us to have here, and we're so glad you're all here, and we love you all very much.
All right. I'd like you all to invite you all to take a moment to sit and breathe, to meditate, to ponder, to pray if you wish, but most of all, to be at peace. My courage is stronger than my fear. I remain kind and I keep going. I am true to my own path. I have a valuable contribution to make. I believe in myself. I deeply love and accept myself. I am beautiful exactly as I am. I am courageous, bold, and strong. I am all that I need to live a joyful life. I am free to be me. We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope.
You're gay, I'm straight, I think you're great, I think you're so strong. If I had a million years to spend, I could not have done what you've done. I'm straight, it's fate, I'm trying to relate, but I'm feeling like a fool. I'm trying to find how I can show my love and support for you. So raise my voice clear and loud. It's time I stood up, it's time I spoke out against the silence and fear around, and for your love that's true. But I'm the one who held my tongue. I never knew quite what to say. I figured you were doing fine. I thought I'd stay out of your way. But silence is a barbed wire kiss. My lips are bleeding red. So I open my mouth, it's time I say these words I never said. So I'll raise my voice clear and proud. It's time I stood up, it's time I spoke out against the silence and fear around, and for your love that's true. Our voices clear and loud, we'll sing for your courage. will sing for your love that's true, and for the power of loving you.
Love is the spirit of our faith, and service its law.
All right. We would like once again to welcome Reverend Snow.
I'm 6 feet tall, so all right. So, first of all, I'd like to wish everyone here a happy Pride Month. I really appreciate all of you inviting me back here. This is a lovely congregation, and I'm always blessed to be here. Now, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but during Pride Month, while we are all celebrating and having fun, things also tend to get really weird. All of a sudden, a bunch of companies who could have cared less about us suddenly drape their products in rainbows, and as a result, people who don't care for us very much get really mad about it. We see them busting up pride decorations and throwing tantrums. They show up to protest our events, and while they do this stuff year-round, this is the time that really ramps up, because this is the time we're the most visible. But as a minister, I have to say the thing that drives me the most nuts are the random Bible verses they pull out of cultural context and bludgeon people with. Every last one of them seems to truly believe they are the first to introduce me to these verses, despite the fact studying and understanding the Bible is my life's work. And while they are, in my opinion, wrong about all of them, one always bothers me the most. It's Proverbs 16:18. And while the verse, at least translated, says, "Pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before the fall," it is usually shortened to something along the lines of, "Pride cometh before the fall." They then take this proverb to mean that gay pride will lead to the downfall of civilization, which is an interpretation. It's very obvious that in this context, this verse is talking about arrogance. In fact, most cases where biblical passages are used against the queer community, the sin actually being committed is arrogance. There's a difference between the pride one might feel for their child's or community's accomplishments and the pride that makes one feel like they are better than others. The pride that makes one unable to admit their faults or mistakes. This equivalence between queer people and arrogance is interpreted most prominently in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, even though the narrative portrayed is one of sexual assault and lack of hospitality. Ezekiel 16:49 through 50 clearly states, "Now this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her sisters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy. They were haughty and did detestable things before me." Now, you would have to make a pretty far reach to make this story about loving same-sex relationships or transgender people. And yet, doctrine has made this connection for centuries. It makes me think that many of the people who choose to interpret it this way would rather pass the blame than accept that they, the people around them, or the nation they live in, are arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned with the plight of the poor and the needy. The LGBTQ community has a great deal to be proud of. We have survived imprisonment, torture, murder. We have been seen by many people as less than human. We have had religion, pseudoscience, and legislation thrown at us over the years, and we have been consistently wiped from the pages of history by those too prudish or disgusted to accept that we were there. There is a hymn I absolutely love, and actually last time I was here, it was part of the service. It's a very simple hymn, and one of the lines is, "We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives." And as this hymn was being sung, I thought of the AIDS epidemic of the 80s and 90s. I thought of the ACT UP protesters. I thought of the Stonewall riots, the assassination of Harvey Milk. I thought of how long we have been gentle, angry people in the face of great tragedy. And in previous sermons I've spoken of my personal challenges, as well as the challenges of this community. I've spoken of my struggles with God and with gender dysphoria. I've spoken of the history of this community and the challenges of being queer in Appalachia. But this year I'm called to write something a bit different, because this Pride Month feels heavier than usual, because the world feels heavier than usual. As the world gets smaller and our technology gets better, we now have the opportunity to see the suffering of the world in real time. We see the suffering of our queer siblings all over the planet. We see the hate crimes directed at LGBTQ people, not just in America, but Russia, Uganda, and the UK. We see reproductive rights being stripped away, and we see racial injustice. We see the devastation of war, genocide, and climate change. We see child slavery and human trafficking, refugees and martyrs, homelessness and hatred. We see children starve, and we see what bombs and AK-47s can do to their little bodies. So not only are we facing a particularly brutal and depressing election year where queer people are being used as a political bludgeon, we are also watching the global atrocities of man play out in real time, all while facing economic and environmental disaster. And if you're anything like me, sometimes it just feels like too much. Sometimes you just break down and cry. And if I may give you any gift today, let it be my vulnerability. We live in a country that sees vulnerability as weakness, that degrades the feminine and applauds emotionless, dutiful compliance. Vulnerability makes you unproductive. Grief takes you away from the grind. And in a world that rewards you for acting like a machine, never be ashamed to cry. It has become instinctive for those of us living in a country that does not value emotion to hole up when we are sad, to batten down the hatches, to create walls around ourselves. We create walls to feel as if we are not a burden to others. We create walls to avoid seeing suffering. We create walls of ideological purity because we think if we are only surrounded by people like us, who act like us and think like us, we will be safe. But we aren't safe. None of us are safe. It's easy to hide like a squirrel in a tree, to sit and wait by ourselves and hope this storm blows over. We all do it. I'm not immune to this instinct. When you don't feel safe, the thought of letting people in can be unbearable. Vulnerability makes you, well, vulnerable. It takes a great deal of courage to reach out when it doesn't feel safe to do so. But as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said in Strength to Love, courage faces fear and thereby masters it. It is easy in these moments to forget our accomplishments, that because of our hard work, we can now get married. That while gender-affirming care is certainly not where it needs to be, the amount of trans people seeking underground medical procedures has decreased significantly. We no longer need to be indebted to the mob in order to have a drink with friends or hide in bathhouses to meet our lovers. We have queer people serving in some of the highest public offices in the country. Progress is slow, and we have a lot of work to do, but it is not impossible. It is beneficial to the powers that be that we stay afraid, that we stay in the shadows, in the margin, because to them that is our place. Queer pride is not arrogance, it is the opposite. It is stretching your arms out into the sun and being present in the world, present to sing, to dance, and to help others. And when we do that, we realize we are not alone, that the world is full of gentle, angry people, justice-seeking people, people entirely different from you, sometimes living on the other side of the planet. That homophobia, racism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, prejudice, misogyny, transphobia, hatred of immigrants and refugees, all these things are connected. At the end of the day, we are a gentle, angry people singing for our lives, and we are not alone. And that can be hard to reconcile because even marginalized and oppressed people are often at odds with one another. We also have biases. We have prejudices. I've heard many people in my own community say things that are racist, Islamophobic, anti-Semitic, and transphobic. We've all seen the Grindr bios that say, no fats, no femmes, no Asians. Being both the oppressed and the oppressor is a hard thing to hold in one's heart and mind. But our symbol is the rainbow for a reason. It is because we come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Queerness transcends race, nationality, religion, and gender. We are just born places all over the world. And that gives us a unique perspective that no other marginalized group has. But it also means we can become divided quite easily when loyalties to our other identities come into play. But this Pride Month, I think it's important to remember the diversity of our community. That we are rich and we are poor. We are black and white, Jewish, Muslim, pagan, Buddhist, and Christian. We are a rainbow coalition that expresses God's infinite diversity. And seeing this diversity is incredible because when we realize that we see it just isn't just queer people who need liberation. We all need liberation. And our liberation is dependent on the liberation of others, even those you think might not need it. Nelson Mandela writes in his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom, I knew as well as I knew anything that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. Pride is liberation, and liberation is love. Not just love for our community, but for all people. There are many marginalized people who do not like queer people, and we have to want them liberated too. We must desire the liberation of even those who hate us the most, because those people are prisoners to their own prejudice. It keeps them isolated, narrow-minded, angry, and after a while it just becomes madness. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk are not happy, well-adjusted people. They have everything they could ever want, and they are still miserable because they have spent so long oppressing and hating other people. It rots your soul. And it's easy to point to people like that and say, I'm nothing like that. But all of us have a little bit of rot in our soul that we need to pluck out. And it's only by reaching into our hearts and clearing out all the fear and muck that we can reach out our hand. And some people will take that hand, others will not. Some people are just dedicated to not seeing the face of God in their neighbor, and at the end of the day, we are not in control of other people's actions. As frustrating as it is, we cannot make people see our humanity, nor can we make them see the humanity of others. But we should try. We should help. And on the days we can't stomach it, we should, at the very least, not hold ourselves up. We must not allow ourselves to commit the actual sin of Sodom. We must hold back the urge to think that we know best and to be unconcerned with the poor, the oppressed, and the needy. The queer community has always taken care of each other. We've always worked hard to make the world a better place. So this year, let's not forget what pride is. Pride is a riot fighting for the oppressed. Pride is a parade where we celebrate our differences. But most of all, pride is an outstretched hand, reaching out to all the other gentle, angry people in this world and singing for their lives too. It is holding their pain and struggle and grief next to our own. And it is our duty to never forget that. Amen. Thank you.
Let us rise in mind, body, and spirit, and turn in your hymnals to page 170, for we are a gentle, angry people.
We are a gentle and great people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle and great people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. Gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
We may we may live the spirit of gay pride in our words, actions, and deeds all year, not just in this Pride Month.
Sarah's one right there. I didn't know Sarah's one right there.
Oh,